Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Illusion Fox Gaming. So today we're doing Stairway to the Heavens, which unlocks the astrologian class. John Quand of the Athenaeum Astrologicum simply cannot take his eyes off of you. Now where to begin? I suppose I could consult my divining deck for an answer, but that would be too easy now, wouldn't it? Very well, at the beginning it is. Astrology, or the reading of the stars, is a branch of astrological science, which originated in the distant Charlian. There have been astrologians in Ishgard for thousands of years, but it wasn't until 3 centuries ago when Adnel the Younger learned that the movement of the stars could also be used to foresee the movements of the Dravanian horde that the field became popular. Since then, what was once a single science has bifurcated into two similar, yet ultimately different schools of learning, the Charlian School of Astrology and the Ishgardian School. The former placing focus on tapping celestial ether and transforming it into beneficial magics, or astromancy. The latter specializing solely in determining the actions of our dragon enemies to the north. I am a student of the former, the only student of the former here in Ishgard, and have been actively seeking a partner with whom to conduct my research. Let's just say that my fellow astrologians here have been less than approving of my path. But that is simply because they are afraid of what they do not know. Once they do know of how Charlian astrology can benefit the sea and its soldiers, they will feel foolish for having doubted me. Us. You'll be joining me, will you not? Walking the path has been laid out before you instead of stubbornly denying your fate, postponing the inevitable. I see you wasted no time making your decision. Like I always say, the stars are never wrong. Alas, even a lifetime of study and training cannot unlock all the secrets written in their stars. Myself, I have been a student of the astronomantic arts for more summers than I can count, and I still often misread the signs shown to me in the skies. Though my readings are far from accurate now than they were when I attended the Athenaeum in Charlian. Not the Charlian, mind you. The colony that once thrived in the Dravanian hinterlands. I can recall my time there like it was but yesterday. The first 6 moons I was not even allowed to touch the deck of 60, let alone conduct a reading with the major arcana. Most of my time was spent in the scriptorium, transcribing old tomes on astrological fundamentals such as the 6 elemental houses, divine duplicity, class triplicity, house modality, and polarity, dignity versus detriment. I abhorred the task and would tirelessly pester my instructors as to when I might actually be granted the opportunity to weave a spell or form a reading. It wasn't until the end of the 6th moon that I realized all that transcribing had prepared me with the essentials I would need to do those very things. The positions of the celestial bodies within the 6 elemental houses and their relations to the major and minor arcana of the deck of 60, therein lies the secrets to tapping the ethereal power locked in the heavens. And soon you'll become privy to these secrets too. But not this day. No. I would not have you transcribe musty old tomes like I was once forced to do. No, the task I have for you is much more interesting. You see, I'm expecting the arrival of a very important guest. My old mentor from the studium has agreed to make the journey from the old world to Ishgard, and speak with the Holy See regarding the implementation of Charlian astrological techniques in city-state defense. Alas, the professor and his party are now fully 7 days late in arriving, and I have begun to worry for their safety. I should be much obliged, therefore, if you would inquire of here at the Athenaeum if they have heard aught. Why would Lord Jin think I had information on the whereabouts of a handful of unbelievers from across the blood-brine sea? I'm an astrologian, not a fortune-teller. I cannot simply look at the stars and scry the location of a Viscount's guests. Unless his guests are dragons, that is. If anyone knew aught, it would be the observatorium. We here at the Athenaeum are but students dedicated to research. Those with any influence in our field are assigned to the astroscope. Let me guess, the good Lord Janine Cornard said he saw you in a vision that the stars told him that you were to study Charlian astrology with him. My close, just 100 of his little pets to pester me this week. I harbor no ill will toward ignorant unbelievers unlucky enough to find themselves caught up in the talk of stars and fortunes. But you may tell that sorry excuse for an astrologian for the upteenth time that I have heard naught concerning his imaginary friends from faraway Charlian. Just do not tell the Viscount I called him a sorry excuse for an astrologian, alright? Janiquinard is still waiting for word on the missing Charlians instead of actually making an effort to find them, is he? Of course he is. Saying wonder that in nearly the 15 years since his return from Charlian, his skill in astromancy has remained unchanged. Any wonder that he has never yet managed to convince a single peer of the value of the Charlian school? He's a privileged little sprat who spends more time gazing at the stars in young Maine's eyes than actually trying to read the ones above his head. All right. You tell the poor man I just returned from the observatorium and one night at the communal feasting hall. Happened to overhear Chief Astrologian Forlamont speaking with one of his aides regarding Charlian. He was visibly upset, and I wasn't about to risk my career over something I care little about. So I merely put my head down and ate my beet soup. That is all I know, and you did not hear it from me. Master Forlamont, I thought this day could not get any worse. No, I'm not suggesting that meeting you in any way has been unfortunate. It is just it may not be our best interest to be seen together as of yet. There are certain people in the sea who do not approve of my studies. Couple with that with the fact that you are an outsider and an unbeliever, and well, people may come to the wrong conclusions. We must act with caution to prove that our intentions are just and for the good of all Ishgard. So I must get you to travel to the observatorium alone and meet me there. This is a longer quest than I was expecting it to be, but oh well, we'll do it all the same. Allow me to apologize again for not accompanying you here. As for our business with the Chief Astrologian, you may leave that talking to me. I might have known it would be you. Who else would be so indecent as to drag an outsider into a holy place of observation? You have always had an unhealthy obsession with the foreign. 'Tis why you are as worthless to the Athenium now as you were when you returned from the heathen city a decade and a half since. But the stars, they can serve us in other ways than merely revealing when the Horde will attack. Their powers can be tapped. The ether within can be used for... The ether should be left be. Has history taught you naught about the folly of the Nimians, the Emdapori, the Maki? Mine uncle, the Charlians, have been yielding astroments for ages without disrupting ethereal balance. This power combined with the guardian of astrology could be what is needed to turn the tide of this 1,000-year conflict. Moreover, I have reason to believe that our masters at the Vault agree, as they have given me their blessing to continue my research. I didn't come to trade barbs with you, Uncle. Let us save that for another time. I'm here because it has come to my attention that you may have information as to the whereabouts of Professor Mason and his party from Charlian. For someone who says he is not here to trade barbs, you've been quite generous in your dealing of them today. If it means you'll leave and allow me to return to my work, then I'd be more than happy to let you know that information found its way to my desk just yesterday morning. Serpent Reaver sightings and foul weather prevented the professor's ship from entering the Straits of Merelthor, where they would have made their way up to the Maiden to Querthus. After detouring around the south of Vilbrand, they finally disembarked at Vesper Bay, where they took the land route along the Royal Elegant Sunway to the Black Shroud. It is there, it seems, that they lost their way. A lost astrologian. Ha! It is as my morning reading predicted. Dalamud was in detriment in the House of the Spire while ascending over the ecliptic. What? Lucian, you must journey the Black Shroud and assist Professor Mace. Let me introduce you to Quimperin. He is my personal manservant and shall accompany you. He is not one for conversation, but his sword arm is amongst the best in all the pillars. He should see you safe. If any danger were to befall you, and something that tells me danger lurks on the horizon. It is my pleasure to serve you, my lady. I shall make haste to Quarry Mill and await you there. My lady, I have questioned the residents of this hamlet and learned that a party of queerly dressed outsiders passed through not but a bell ago. It should not prove overly difficult to find them now, but before we begin, might I ask you a moment of your time? I would not dare utter aught ill of my master, but his recent fixation with finding a protege, I believe it ill considered. This passion, however pure, has left him with more than one enemy within the astrological community. Lord Forlamont has seen to this. Fear not only for how his name might be sullied, but for his life. I beg of you, pray do not drag him any further down into this quagmire. Let him quietly dabble in his dream, but let it remain at that, a dream. No good will come of encouraging him. It will only hurt the Viscount and his family. You must remember that while I serve Lord Genequinard, it is his uncle, the Count, who employs me. Now, as for the task at hand, I suggest we find the wayward travelers and hurry back to our respective hearths. I shall lead. Might I ask you to take the rear and see that none might take us unawares? These are the Charlians we seek, and it appears they have found themselves some trouble. Unhand my grandfather. Ah, feisty. We'll fetch a fine price for that one from the pleasure barge captains. The soul has spoken. Grab the old man. These wizard types can carry on them all manner of gemmed baubles and golden trinkets. Up or I'll toss you to the snakes. You want to see the old man again? You leave us the girl. Try anything, and he's dead. Wait. Grandfather's soul crystal. Why would you leave it here? Surrendering any power he might have had to free himself from those bandits. Unless you are the one who saw in his reading before he left the old world. But that was more than a moon ago. My grandfather scribed from the cards that he would serve as the bridge for countless souls to be passed to another. Might you be that other? These men of the forest are careless. Track them will be no difficult feat. I shall follow and strike before they have time to regroup in numbers. The stars have spoken and laid their path not before you, but before the adventurer here. You must take the soul of the astrologian and place it near your heart. Listen to the tales of those who walked before you, and know their journeys as you do your own. As for the tools you require, and the knowledge needed to yield them, I, Leveva, shall see to those matters. You saw there was no fear in my grandfather's eyes when the bandits took him. This is because he has seen you come to his rescue. Our lives were written in the stars long before we trod upon this land. It's not by chance that you stand here today with the soul of the astrologian in your hand. It is fate. And, well, that's Stairway to Heavens, the first quest in the line of astrologian, and how you unlock it. Thank you for joining us here this evening. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.